That says 6 and this says 5:59. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to do something a little bit different tonight in recognition of Scott's approaching leaving the City Council. He is the President Pro Temp of the City Council. So he will be conducting the Special Utility Authority meeting tonight and the following City Council meeting. It's in recognition of his many years of service and of his good hard work. During that period of time, you get to know the men serving with you on the council. You get to know the ins and outs of their personality, and I'm here to tell you Scott's been performed very admirably, and I have great faith in whatever he's always brought forward to the council, and the questions that he's asked have always been informative and good ones to help this council make decisions. So, Scott, without saying any further information, I'll turn the whole meeting over to you. You open up everything.
Okay.
There's your gavel and everything.
Can't remind me to adjust my comments later in regards to your kind words. I have to make an
Okay.
adjustment in my plan.
I surprised him. I got him first.
We have already called to order this meeting of the Special Utility Authority, which was item number 1. Item number 2 is the consent agenda. The following items are on the consent agenda. All items listed under the consent agenda are deemed to be non-controversial and routine in nature by the governing board. They will be approved by one motion of the Miami Special Utility Authority. The items on the consent agenda will not be discussed. Any member of the governing board desiring to discuss an item on the consent agenda may request that it be removed from the consent agenda and placed in its proper order on the regular agenda. Any member of the governing board can also move to add items from the regular agenda to the consent agenda and make one motion and vote to approve. Item A on the consent agenda, ratify all previous actions and decisions by the Miami City Council. Item B are the minutes of April 2nd, 2013. Item C are claims for the utility department in the amount of $1,226,492.15. Item D is authorized chairman's signature on elevated gas pressure request for One Oak to supply natural gas to the southwest well standby generator. Gentlemen, is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve, Mr. Vice Chairman.
Second.
Ms. Fitzgibbon, please poll the utility authority.
Trustee Johnson?
Aye.
Trustee Schultz?
Aye.
Trustee Charbit?
Aye.
Vice Chair Tressler?
Aye.
Chairman Ketcher?
Aye.
The item has passed. Item 3 is public input and unscheduled personal appearances. Is there anyone in the audience this evening to appear before the Special Utility Authority? We have no one raising their hand. Item 4 is a discussion on interim financing plan for the MCFA by City Manager Jeff Bishop.
Thank you, Mayor, Chairman, Vice Chairman. To figure out my nomenclature tonight, I'm looking for my support document in the packet, and it's not coming up yet. The bond issue for the MCFA project will not be producing proceeds until late part of May. And as you can tell from the handout that we had included in the packet, as soon as I can get past all of these generator things, you can see that the cash flow for the month of May is expected to be about $552,000 and $718,000 in June. So accordingly, staff is requesting authorization for the SUA to cash flow that. The SUA would be reimbursed from the proceeds of the bond issue, which is a capital appreciation bond. Staff is looking for authorization to cash flow for the months of May and June, which would be $552,000 in May and $718,000 in June. There are ample funds in the SUA to handle that.
Anyone need to make a comment on that or have any questions for Jeff?
I have no questions. Motion to approve.
Second.
Ms. Fitzgibbon, please poll the board.
Okay. Trustee Schultz?
Aye.
Chairman Ketcher?
Aye.
Trustee Johnson?
Aye.
Trustee Charbit?
Aye.
Vice Chair Tressler?
Aye.
All ayes.
The item is passed. Item 5 is procedure receive tax exemption for material purchases. Mr. Bishop?
Yes, sir. In order for us to have the project not have to pay taxes on it, we have to apply with the tax commission to do so. So staff is requesting authorization to submit that paperwork.
Is that a one-time thing?
It's a one-time thing.
Need a motion?
Please.
Yes, sir.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Ms. Fitzgibbon, please poll.
Trustee Sharp?
Aye.
Trustee Schultz?
Aye.
Trustee Johnson?
Aye.
Chairman Ketcher?
Aye.
Vice Chair Tressler?
Aye.
All ayes.
The item is passed. Item 6 is approval and agreement between the Miami Special Utility Authority and the Miami Community Facilities Authority defining and establishing duties, powers, and functions pertaining to the Red Robertson Stadium and Community Event Center Complex. Mr. Anderson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. What you should have in your packet is a copy of a proposed agreement between the Special Utility Authority and the Miami Community Facilities Authority, both of whom are acting as co-tenants and essentially as partners in the Red Robertson Field project. The document includes a large number of whereas clauses, and those are quotations from the trust indentures of both respective trusts, which establish the legality not only of their joint efforts with regard to Red Robertson Field, but the roles that they purport to undertake in this undertaking. The short version would be that the document establishes that the Special Utility Authority is handling the financial end and approving bids, receiving invoices, and paying invoices in the construction project, whereas the MCFA will maintain not only a managerial role after the construction is completed in its various stages, but the MCFA will also make recommendations to the Miami Special Utility Authority concerning bid specs and bid recommendations. The document also provides that each entity resolves to approve the decisions made by the other this far in the process. You might see further amendments of this document in the future. It was designed to create a baseline so that we could move forward, certainly with the financial components of the project. I don't know how ultimately the two entities will want to further refine the managerial versus financing role, but I think that this sort of agreement's necessary for the time being as we enter into the bid process. If there's any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Any questions or discussion?
I'd make a recommendation for the approval of the agreement between the Miami Special Utility Authority and Miami Community Facilities Authority defining and establishing the duty, powers, and functions thereof to the Red Robertson Complex.
I'll second that. Ms. Fitzgibbon, please poll.
Chairman Ketcher?
Aye.
Trustee Sharp?
Aye.
Trustee Johnson?
Aye.
Trustee Schultz?
Aye.
Vice Chair Tressler?
Aye.
All ayes.
The item has passed. Item 7, declare items as surplus and authorize a public auction. I believe this is Mr. Hines' item.
Good evening, gentlemen. As you're
Randy.
aware, there's very little leeway on how to get rid of city property. So we have an auction, and you have a list in your packet. The city auction is tentatively planned for May 18th. The departments have put together this excess list and has been used to move some items from department to department to keep new spending down. A great many items have already dropped off the list due to needs from different departments. So first we give all the departments a shot at them so that we don't have to go out and buy anything new. And then after they've all done that, then the list comes before you to make it surplus. And then, of course, then we can go to the auction.
We have a paper trail of transferring it from one department to the other.
Just through emails.
Okay. David?
It's the only method that you have to dispose of surplus items. And as you're aware, Mr. Chairman, this has commonly occurred, if not annually, something resembling annually. And this is the appropriate process.
I noticed, Randy, there was one item that had a reserve on it. There may have been more. I know
There's only one.
At least one. Okay. Are there other items? I think a couple of years ago, we tried to sell a trash truck online, for example, because we thought we could get more value out of it that way.
That's right.
Through an auction. Are we pursuing anything like that? Or is there anything here that you have a concern about?
Nothing on this list, but we have occasionally, once or twice during the year, sold a vehicle of some sort or some item on a government website that we do things on. But so far, we've noticed that the auctions bring us close to the same price and bring other people in that might not have come, and they buy other things at the auction. But this does have a reserve on that one item because Ryan knows he can get it, or whoever's it is, knows that they can get that much for it someplace else.
That's all the questions I had, Mayor. Thank you.
Then what we need is a motion to declare items as surplus and authorize the auction.
I'll make that motion, Mr. Vice Chairman.
Second.
Ms. Fitzgibbon, please poll.
Trustee Johnson?
Aye.
Trustee Schultz?
Aye.
Trustee Sharbit?
Aye.
Chairman Ketcher?
Aye.
Vice Chair Tressler?
Aye.
All
The
ayes.
item has passed.
Thank you.
Item 8 is other new business. Thank you, Randy. Other new business, if any, which has arisen since the posting of the agenda and could not have been anticipated prior to the time of posting. No items for new business. Item 9, trustee community announcements and sign approved documents. Here come some documents. Do we have any announcements from the trustees? No one is jumping into that. Item 10, staff reports. The written reports have been included in the packet. Does anyone have a question to ask of staff or Mr. Bishop regarding those reports? No questions. Item 11 is an adjournment. Do I have a motion for adjournment?
Motion to adjourn.
And a second, please.
Second.
Ms. Fitzgibbon, please poll.
Trustee Tressler?
Aye.
I'm sorry. Trustee Sharbit?
Aye.
Trustee Johnson?
Aye.
Trustee Schultz?
Aye.
Chairman Ketcher?
Aye.
All ayes.
Motion is carried. This meeting is adjourned. We will begin the regular city council meeting at, I believe, approximately 6:15.
Roger Wicker.
I'm going to call to order the regular city council meeting of the city of Miami, Tuesday, April 16th, 2013 at 6:15 p.m. The notice was filed in the office of the city clerk and posted in the main lobby of the north outside entryway of the Miami Civic Center at 3 p.m. on April 15th, 2013. This evening is my last official meeting as a full-time council member, and Mayor Catcher graciously offered me the opportunity this evening to chair this evening's meetings. And so I'm going to take that opportunity and swing the gavel a little bit and I guess basically be the one who kind of stumbles over the reading as they read and forgets where they are, that type of thing, because you're trying to keep concentration on everything. So first item, of course, is call to order, which we've already done. Next item is invocation and pledge of allegiance. I'll lead the invocation this evening. If you would, please stand with me. As we begin our invocation this evening, of course, we want to keep in mind the terrible events that happened in Boston yesterday, and the many families who are experiencing the tragedy and the health issues, and of course there were some lives lost as well. So let's remember them as we have our invocation this evening. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you so much for this evening, and I thank you so much for our community. It has been a wonderful, wonderful experience that you have allowed me to have as a Miami resident and as a city councilman. I pray that you would continue to guide our city, continue to bless us. You've been with us through the good times, and you've been right there even more so during the bad times and the events in our community that we really don't want to think about, but we had to go through them, and you were there for us. I pray, Lord, that you would continue to guide Mayor Ketcher and the rest of the council as they make decisions for our community, for our future, and also to continue to be with our residents as well as they also offer support. We thank you so much for everything you've done. We pray a special blessing on the individuals involved in the incidents in Boston as well. Please give them a special healing and a special blessing of yours. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Item 4 is citizens' input and unscheduled personal appearances. Do we have anybody appear before the council this evening? Item 5 is the consent agenda. The following items are on the consent agenda. All items listed under the consent agenda are deemed to be non-controversial and routine in nature by the governing board. They will be approved by one motion of the Miami City Council. The items on the consent agenda will not be discussed. Any member of the governing board desiring to discuss an item on the consent agenda may request that it be removed from the consent agenda and placed in its proper order on the regular agenda. Any member of the governing board can also move to add items from the regular agenda to the consent agenda and make one motion and vote to approve. Item A is ratify all previous actions and decisions by the Miami Special Utility Authority. Item B are claims in the amount of $398,029.25. Item C is a resolution to waive the garage sale permit fees as approved at the April 2nd, 2013 council meeting. Gentlemen, is there a motion?
Motion to approve.
And a second, please.
Second.
Ms. Fitzgibbon, please poll the council.
Councilman Schultz?
Aye.
Mayor Kitcher,
Aye.
Councilman Johnson,
Aye.
Councilman Sharbit,
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Trussler.
Aye.
All ayes.
The item has passed. Item 6, the beneficiary approval of an agreement between the Miami Special Utility Authority and the Miami Community Facilities Authority defining and establishing duties, powers, and functions pertaining to the Red Robertson Stadium and Community Event Center Complex. Mr. Anderson.
Thank you, Mr. Is it Vice Mayor?
Mayor Pro Tem,
Mayor
that
Pro
Scott,
Tem.
that guy, hey you, those all, I answer to them all.
Thank you, sir. The agreement that's before you in your packet is an agreement between the Miami Community Facilities Authority, the Miami Special Utility Authority, that on a very basic level sets forth the respective responsibilities of each trust authority with regard to the Red Robertson Field project. Essentially, the Miami Special Utility Authority is handling the financing. They're issuing the revenue bonds. The MSUA will be handling final bid approval. The MCFA will be making the recommendations in the interim and handling all the management of the facility afterward. As you know, the City of Miami, Oklahoma, as represented by the City Council, is designated as the sole beneficiary of both of those trusts. Your approval is not strictly necessary from a legal perspective, but I do think it is appropriate under these circumstances and in such a large undertaking between both authorities to seek your approval of this agreement. And I recommend that you do so. I'm willing to answer any questions you may have.
Gentlemen, any questions or discussion?
I'll make a motion on item number 6 that it be approved on the beneficiary approval and agreement between the Miami Special Utility Authority and the Miami Community Facility Authority, establishing duty, powers, and functions pertaining to the Red Robertson Stadium Community Center Complex.
And a second?
I'll second that.
Ms. Fitzgibbon, please poll the council.
Mayor Kitcher,
Aye.
Councilman Johnson.
Aye.
Councilman Schultz.
Aye.
Councilman Sharbit,
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Trussler.
Aye.
All ayes.
Item 6 has passed. Item 7 is authorize the mayor's signature on an application for Oklahoma Humanities Council Let's Talk About It Oklahoma Fall 2013, presented by award-winning and world-famous keeper of all things library in the city of Miami, Marcia Johnson.
Well, thank you, Scott. Good evening, gentlemen.
Hi, Marcia.
Each fall, the Miami Public Library holds a Let's Talk About It event at the library, and it's through a grant from the Oklahoma Humanities Council. What this grant does is it allows us to have some sets of books that the Humanities Council sends us so that people can come and borrow those books. And then it pays for speakers who come from NSU or OSU or various places in the community to discuss the books with us, and then it pays also for a little bit of promotion. The grant is for up to $1,000, and what we are requesting this year is $974.22. Now, there's also a requirement for matching, but it can be in kind, and we, provide staff time, some supplies like copies and things for the questions for the series, and we are also able to use the facilities as part of our in-kind matching because we hold the meetings there in the facilities. The actual cash outlay last fall was under $20, so it's not a big expense to us, and it's just a good humanities series to have for our community. So,
Motion to approve.
Second.
Ms. Fitzgibbon, please poll.
Councilman Schultz.
Aye.
Councilman Sharbit,
Aye.
Councilman Johnson.
Aye.
Mayor Kitcher,
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Trussler.
Aye.
All ayes.
That item has passed. Thank you, Ms. Marcia.
Thank you.
Item 8 is authorize the mayor's signature on a resolution for schools and libraries universal services for the 2013-14, authorizing the filing of Form 471 application for funding year 2013-14 and the payment of the applicant's share upon approval of funding and receipt of services. Ms. Johnson again.
Okay, thank you. In 2012, our internet computers were used 26,658 times. Those are just the ones on the main floor. In addition to that, we have about an average of 133 people that bring in computers each month of their own and use our wireless. So that is a core service that we provide. Our internet is paid, though, through E-Rate. And E-Rate is administered by the Universal Service Administration Company, and it's under the direction of the FCC. Now, as of a few months ago, we had a T1 line, and the T1 line was cost $6,168 annually. That was all paid by E-Rate. But not too long ago, because of a broadband grant, the we've increased our speed greatly, and now annually it will cost $25,200. Again, this is paid by E-rate. However, E-rate pays 90%. Now, they figure that 90% based on how many people in the community, how many children in the community are on free and reduced lunches. The schools have to report that because they also get E-rate. The other 10% has always been paid by the Oklahoma Universal Service Fund, and in all probability, they will be the ones to pay it. But we still have to agree that in the event that they didn't pay it, that we would. And the total amount that we would have to pay, and you can see the totals in your packet, but for us would be $2,783.20. Again, I don't see any concern that we will have to pay it, but we just have to say that we would if the OUSF didn't. So that would have to come out of library materials.
Marcia, if you don't have a T1 anymore, what do you have?
Fiber. They have fiber now.
Okay. And that's why
And-
it's so expensive, because it's fiber.
And this was
Huge bandwidth advantage.
Yeah.
It's a fat pipe.
we didn't pay for that even though, and this was the Oklahoma Department of Libraries. They had received a major grant from the National Telecommunications and Information Administration to upgrade broadband, and we were one of 44 libraries in the state that were lucky enough to get in on this. That's how we got our computer lab and so forth. So,
No, any more discussion? It's motion to approve.
Second.
Ms. Fitzgibbon, please poll.
Councilman Sharbit?
Aye.
Councilman Schultz? Councilman Johnson?
Aye.
Mayor Ketcher?
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Tressler?
And aye.
All ayes.
And that item has passed.
and while I have the mic, quickly, I will say, Scott, thank you very much for your service. You were my councilman as well as serving on the council, and I appreciate your work.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Item 9 is authorize the mayor's signature on amended agreement with the Horsemen's Association to lease the horse barn at the fairgrounds. Mr. Klein.
Yes, sir. Thank you. The previous contract, we have amended a couple sentences in. We've worked with David and Krista in amending those, and we bring it back before the council for approval.
We did this last year, didn't we?
Oh, you did this last month, but there was a couple lines that needed amended.
The insurance certificate that was provided by the Horsemen's Association looked a little different than what we thought we'd agreed to, so we reviewed it, revisited it, and amended the contract, hoping that you would approve it as amended tonight. It's a $1 million, and what was the property damage?
$100,000.
$100,000 per incident property damage.
$1 million liability, right?
Yes.
I mean, I remember when we made the decision to turn it back over to them. It seemed like it'd been longer than a month ago, but anyway, if the contract is more favorable to us, then I would make a motion to approve.
Second.
Ms. Fitzgibbon, please poll.
Councilman Schultz?
Aye.
Councilman Sharbit?
Aye.
Councilman Johnson?
Aye.
Mayor Ketcher?
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Tressler?
Aye.
All ayes.
Item 9 is passed. Item 10, declare items
you.
as surplus and authorize a public auction. Mr. Hines.
The city auction is tentatively planning for an auction on May 18th. The departments have been put together this excess list, and it has been used to move some items from department to department to keep new spending down. A great many items have already dropped off the list due to needs from different departments. Let them have first, it's like deja vu. So they've already had their first dibs on everything, and now we're going before you to see if we can get a surplus and then go to auction.
When is your auction?
May 18th.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Ms. Fitzgibbon, please poll the council.
Councilman Sharbit?
Aye.
Mayor Ketcher?
Aye.
Councilman Schultz?
Aye.
Councilman Johnson?
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Tressler?
Randy's auction out here?
Aye. Item,
Yes, auction will be here at the building. It'll be the outside area for the outside stuff, and then we'll have the inside. And I'll come before you at your next meeting for the auctioneer stuff.
This may be helpful. In the past, when you did the auction, there's a distinct process that can be used for police departments to dispose of what is called in the statutes, I think, property that's come into the possession of the police chief, and it's handled a little bit differently. And in the past, that's when you'd see all the bicycles, for example. Is that being handled separately now, Randy?
Yes, they have a different way to do it on some sort of police website.
And disposition of those items is made by court order.
Item 10 has passed. Thank you, Randy. Item 11, authorization of the mayor's signature to update the Oklahoma Department of Transportation Urban Boundary Adjustment Map. Mr. Chuck Childs.
I don't know how that worked out.
Slow.
Thank you. We have a PowerPoint. Again, we're asking the city council to authorize the mayor to sign the urban boundary adjustment map that we received from ODOT. Again, we're asking the council to approve the revised urban boundary map and to authorize the mayor to sign the map.
Just like in every, oh, no, go ahead.
After the census, ODOT goes through and updates the urban boundary maps, and that's what we have before you tonight. The only difference between this one and the one done 10 years ago is an area of P Street west, or area of Newman west of P Street, and you'll see that in the exhibit later on. After the city council approves the maps and forwards it on to ODOT and the Federal Highway Administration, they will also sign it and send it back to us. What I'm showing you here is the shade area was previously the urban boundary map. This was the one from 10 years ago, the top portion of it, and the yellow outline is just the change that we've added to include the area of Newman Road west of P Street there. Again, this is the bottom of the existing map as it stands now. The map blown up of what's on the display here, again, that area, just trying to highlight that area that was revised to include the change that we're asking for tonight. Following ODOT's and the Federal Highways approval of this map, we'll have an opportunity within this map are different roads, and there's different classifications, functional classifications. Those are based on the width of the road, access, traffic counts. The map will come back before us again for reviewing those functional classifications, which are tied into different funding sources. Again, that'll be done at a later point in time. Again, tonight we're asking for approval. This map was also signed and approved by North Miami and the City of Commerce. The mayor's signatures from both those communities are already on the maps. So again, we're asking for the council to authorize the mayor to sign these revised maps.
Just to clarify, that the purpose of this is roads get classified a certain way and are therefore eligible for funding at later dates, types of highway funding. Is that?
Yes,
Why?
also planning purposes,
Okay.
funding purposes.
Okay. Motion to approve.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Ms. Fitzgibbon, please poll the council.
Councilman Schultz?
Aye.
Councilman Johnson?
Aye.
Councilman Sharbit?
Aye.
Mayor Ketcher?
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Tressler?
Aye.
All ayes.
Item has passed.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chuck. You're on the next one, I think, as well. Item 12, approval and signature of mayor for sponsor certification checklist for the FAA.
The Federal Aviation Association, FAA, has different requirements. We are coming up for a grant for airport improvements, and as part of that airport improvement project grant, they have different requirements. One of those is a certification from the city that we're following various processes. Our procurement process, our grants oversight process, disbursement process, business continuity process, and how we use technology as far as emails and electronic information. City staff has gone through each one of those different groupings. I actually had the department or supervisor responsible for those areas actually initial and check off the boxes, and what you'll be signing, that we'll be sending into the FAA is that signed sheet, which we need to return to them. So again, staff recommendation that the mayor sign, the city council approve the mayor to sign this form to be sent to FAA.
Motion to approve.
And a second, please.
Second.
Ms. Fitzgibbon, please poll.
Councilman Schultz?
Aye.
Councilman Sharp?
Aye.
Councilman Johnson?
Aye.
Mayor Ketcher?
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Trussler?
Aye.
All
Item
ayes.
is passed. Item 13, authorize the mayor's signature on a resolution to waive $1,320 in fees for Ronnie Williams to conduct the monthly senior citizen dance. Mr. Williams, please.
We did this dance for many years. I don't know. I think I was involved for about 16 years in it. And then I think probably 2002 or 3 it got where I couldn't do it anymore and it kind of folded. They had a dance for senior citizens at the American Legion for many years on Saturday night. They've since discontinued that, and there's no place around in Miami for that to happen. Several of the seniors contacted me and wanted to know if I would start the dance back up again, and I told them I would check and see if we could do that.
Mr. Williams, how many people did you have at the American Legion?
It varied from 60 to sometimes 160, but most normally probably 60 to 80. We had people come from Fort Scott, Kansas, Nevada, Missouri, Pittsburgh. You know, a lot of those people come to town and eat and, you know, buy gas before they went back home because it's cheaper here in most of their places. So it is kind of a ad for the community too.
Is there a reason why the senior citizen center is not being considered?
May not be big enough.
Pardon?
May not be, I don't know.
The question was, is the senior center we have here in town, how come they're not hosting it at their facility?
I don't know. They used to run a dance out there all the time, and they stopped. And I think they charge the band, you know, like $50 a night or $100 a night. We don't charge admission. We do let them make a donation. We buy snacks and stuff out of the donation, you know, when we did it here before. But I think there is a charge out there, if I remember right. We never did check on the senior citizens deal on.
So it's the first Monday each month that you have your dance?
Yeah, and sometimes we'd have to cancel that because they had things going in the civic center that we couldn't do it, but
It'll
which is not a
start-
problem as long as we know ahead, you know, to announce it.
It'll start in June and end in December this year? Is that your request?
Yeah, probably, yeah.
Yep.
Jeff, is there any conflicts on our schedule?
Well, Counselor, I'm not sure if there's any set conflicts, but I think he basically indicated that there was something scheduled, some extraordinary event that's scheduled that night that they would work around it. My biggest concern with scheduling a standing event in the Civic Center, as you all know, that we're currently doing a facilities plan, and there is the potential that we may come to the conclusion that we need to convert the banquet facility to police department. And in that case, then there might be some potential conflict that we wouldn't be able to offer the space on a long-term basis. I mean, I wouldn't want them to get to the point where they expect that this is going to be available for a very long time, and then, 18 months from now, we start having a discussion about renovating it and turning it into police department. But other than that, staff has no reservations.
The only requirement that I need to advise you of is that the ordinance section 27.5 requires that the resolution state a public purpose for any waiver. In many circumstances, a public purpose can be something as simple as parks and recreation activities. But the ordinance does require that if you grant an exemption or a partial or a full waiver, that your motion include a reason identifying a public purpose for the waiver.
Any other discussion?
It's for the health and mobility of the senior citizens dancing.
Is it because the Citizen Center out there is not big enough, or are we just not asked?
Oh, I haven't checked.
Just
I haven't
not
checked.
checked.
Personally, I certainly support the idea. And I would even support, at least in the short run, doing it here, but I think out there is the appropriate place for it if the sizing is enough. I don't know if it is or not.
I know when the bands were out there before, they charged admission, and I think they had to pay a, fee to use it.
I think that's something that can be discussed. That organization seeks funding from the city, and so I think the city probably has some leverage with respect to that matter, so.
Rudy, would you be amenable to agreeing, at least in principle, to authorize the use of the banquet room while we explore also some other options?
I would say even
Just
for
because
this-
of the future use of the banquet
for
room
this
is kind of the
season,
question.
I wouldn't wanna certainly go beyond this, what I'm terming season, as the mayor gave the dates, or the gentleman gave the dates, but I think that it needs to be explored whether or not the senior center is not just an appropriate location, but maybe the best location.
Jeff, do we have a liaison with the senior center? Do we have a staff person?
I guess that would be me.
How about that? Add this to your list of tasks.
Thank you, sir.
I'm going to make a motion that we authorize the waiving of the fees in the interest of senior activities, which benefits health and activity in our community. And at the same time, we also work on possibly an alternate location because our banquet room may not be available past a certain point if we do change the use of our facility.
I'll second that.
Ms. Fitzgibbon, please poll.
Okay. Mayor Ketcher,
Aye.
Councilman Sharbutt,
Aye.
Councilman Johnson,
Aye.
Councilman Schultz,
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Trussler,
Aye.
all ayes.
Thank you. The item is passed.
Okay. We be available then for the first Monday in June?
I don't see a problem with that. You'll have to coordinate with Mr. Bishop and his staff on the particulars as far as the reservation. There's a policy procedure list to reserve the rooms, et cetera, but somebody can contact you tomorrow. Before you leave, can we make sure that we get your contact information?
Yes, Mary has it down in,
Mayor Long.
Mary's the person to talk to, so he's already talking to the right person.
Okay, perfect. So someone's gonna follow up and advise him of everything then?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
all right.
Thank you, Mr. Williams. Appreciate it. Item 14, authorize the mayor's signature on a resolution to waive $870 fees for the Northeast Tribal Health for the week of the Young Child Fun festivities. We have a presenter, Rama Redden. Is she with us this evening? She is not. I'm assuming this is are you speaking on their behalf? Okay. I was going to ad lib because I know a little bit about it.
I'm not for sure if I'm speaking on their behalf, but as the department chair for that division,
Okay.
I have the information here. I believe this is something that they do on an annual basis, and it is the Week of the Young Child. And it will be the banquet room and the kitchen and the gym on April 24th. I'm not for sure of specifically of the times.
This
I
is
think it's on
an all-day event for them, and I think there's a week-long list of activities that the tribes, in cooperation with the Tribal Health System, sponsor in regards to child care, child health especially. I know they do clinics on
Everything.
dental hygiene, safety, exercise, nutrition, et cetera, and I think I was involved at one point on something that we were doing here in the building, so.
It is for Native American children through the Northeast Tribal Health Systems. And this precedes their preparedness for their child care event that is on May
Right.
2nd that they have. So this is always a fun, because I'm down there, the kids are a blast.
Right.
So,
I think they utilize the college facilities for a large petting zoo educational experience as well at the same time.
And the BA does say that the program benefits all children, so it's not limited to any particular demographic.
and last year, the event exceeded 400 toddlers and teachers.
Yeah.
And I know it was, like I said, it was a blast last year, walking through the kids and the children, and they provide a free lunch, and it's free of charge to everybody attending, and it's a lot of fun.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Ms. Fitzgibbon, please poll.
Councilman Sharbutt,
Aye.
Councilman Schultz,
Aye.
Councilman Johnson,
Aye.
Mayor Ketcher,
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Trussler,
Aye,
All
the
ayes.
item has passed. Item 15, appoint fourth community representative to the Miami Flood Mitigation Advisory Board. Mayor Ketcher.
Yes, on that, we're short a couple of individuals, and I was gonna make, the recommendation for 15, Dr. Jeff Hale, NEO College.
Motion to approve?
I'll second.
Ms. Fitzgibbon?
Councilman Schultz?
Aye.
Councilman Johnson?
Aye.
Councilman Sharbit?
Aye.
Mayor Ketcher?
I don't vote.
Oh, that's your, I'm
Yeah.
sorry. Mayor Pro Tem Trussler?
Aye. The item has passed. Dr. Hale will be our representative. Item 16 is in the same vein, appoint a council member as ex officio to the Miami Flood Mitigation Advisory Board. Mayor Ketcher.
On that, I'm recommending Joe Sharbit.
I will
Motion to approve mayor's recommendation.
second Mr. Sharp's nomination.
Councilman Johnson?
Aye.
Councilman Schultz?
Aye.
Councilman Sharbit?
Yes,
I do vote.
absolutely. You don't have to,
Aye.
but you can.
He's a
vote.
scoundrel. I don't know if I can support him.
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Trussler?
Aye, that item has passed. Item 17, other new business, if any, which has arisen since the posting of the agenda and could not have been anticipated prior to the time of this posting. Any new business? No new business.
We'll have new business.
Item 18, naming of the Central Avenue Bridge. Mayor Ketcher.
Yes, that's coming up, and, the bridge is gonna be dedicated. What I had in mind was to simply name it the Ottawa East Central Bridge.
I think that's an excellent idea, based on the fact that without their help, the bridge would still be unusable.
And it's on their land, their headright land. We've got something else coming up too. We're gonna be working on the, Rockdale Bridge. I guess tear down part of it and then rebuild it.
Yeah,
All of it?
it'd be all of it, Your Honor.
Well, I don't know whether we want to take that up, but it was recommended to me by a very informative person that one of the individuals that I went to school with had a lot to do with a huge amount of young men attending NEO College of football players. He used to make them run that bridge, and that was Robert Bob Maxwell. I played high school football, basketball, and baseball with Bob, and I think that was an excellent idea, and we might want to consider doing that this evening also, or if it's appropriate, or wait. But I'd like to name the Ottawa East Central Bridge in honor of the Ottawa tribe and what they've done for the city. And also, when we do the new section over there on the Rockdale area, to name it the Robert Maxwell Rockdale Bridge.
Mr. Chair, if I may, I think we probably will bring back the Rockdale Bridge
Okay.
at a later meeting, since it wasn't clearly identified on the agenda tonight.
Okay.
But certainly would be appropriate to take action on the Central Avenue Bridge.
Okay.
And I will second the mayor's motion on the Central Avenue Bridge.
Ms. Fitzgibbon, please poll.
Mayor Ketcher?
It's my recommendation.
You're voting aye.
Okay. Councilman Schultz? Councilman Johnson?
Aye.
Councilman Sharbit?
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Trussler?
Aye. Item 18 is passed. Item 19, staff reports. Gentlemen, there are written reports in the packet. Does anyone have a question about those reports or of Mr. Bishop while we're here?
Why not?
No comments. Item 20, comments by outgoing Councilmember Trussler. I had a large 4-inch 3-ring binder. It was too heavy to lift, so I didn't even bring it. All those meetings over the years where I've been given 5 minutes here to speak, I was going to use those all up and see if I could take us till midnight tonight. No, not really. I asked to have an agenda item on the council meeting this evening, just so I can make a few brief comments. Just like individuals in the past, if you let me go too long, I can ramble. So if I do get to be a little emotional, someone just kind of give me a high sign and say, Scott, that's enough. You need to settle down. It has been my privilege and an honor to serve Miami these past 9 or 10 years, depending on whatever date I started. We can't nail that down somewhere. I think it's actually 9 years. I happened to be appointed by Mayor Post when former council member Bob Smith resigned his position. He'd moved outside the city limits, and I stepped up and asked to be appointed, and Mayor Post was gracious enough to allow me to fulfill his term, and the council voted me in at that point, and ran for election a few times, and was, like I said, graciously and with a great deal of honor, allowed to serve in this seat by the residents of the ward. It has been a very educational 9 years. I don't know that you could have achieved this education anywhere else in the world, paid any price for it. I don't know that I would pay any price to give up what I've learned or experienced in this time. there are just so many things that go on in the community that you just are never aware of until you take up a position, whether that position is on a library board, a parks board, a council seat, volunteering at the Boys and Girls Club. You have no idea the workings and goings on of an organization or how things work in a community. And everyone comes in with a whole list of conceived ideas. I was like everyone else in that matter, and of course had my eyes opened instantly within the first 24 hours. I can remember having a conversation with Mayor Post at that time and asking him, I said, I'm willing to commit to whatever time is necessary to be a good public servant. Just off the top of your head, what is the time requirement? He says, if you're a good council member and you read your packet, he says, we have 2 meetings a month and occasionally there's a special meeting. He says, if you spend, I think he quoted me at that time, 3 to 5 hours a week reading your packet, returning phone calls, meeting with staff members and everything else, you'll be a very good council member. He said, some people do less and, don't do the job justice. I don't think, but maybe that first week I spent any less than 5 hours, and of course in these past several years it's been a great number more, up into the 40s and 60s on some occasions, depending on the disaster we were dealing with. But I've never minded that. You get tired and weary, and as I told a few folks over the past year, I said, I'm a little bit weary, maybe burned out is the term. That's probably a negative term. Burned out's not a risk, but it's my time to step aside. And so during this previous election cycle, I did not sign up to be reelected. Mr. Doug Weston will be our new council member. He ran unopposed in the election for the Northwest Ward, so I'll be happy to welcome him next week to take over the seat. I wanted to express a special thank you to all of my fellow council members and Mayor Ketcher. I've worked with a few of you for a couple of years and several of you for a whole lot longer, and I appreciate you gentlemen being part of a group that we've been able to do some things for the community. Worked with David and of course Jeff, our most recent member of staff, and we have a dream team right now. I always say that about our staff members. I always think it can't get any better with each new incarnation of staff, whether it be our city manager, et cetera, city attorney, clerks, whatever, but we always end up with a good group. I feel very, very comfortable in leaving at this time because I know the boat is headed in a good direction with steady hands on the wheel. I'd like to thank all of the city staff and employees. Doesn't matter whether you're in one of the more glamorous positions or the more out in front of the public, whether it be a police or firefighter, et cetera. There's a whole lot of positions in the city that the average citizen has no idea you even exist, but you're here doing your job every day. And believe me, if you weren't doing your job, people would know that you exist because things would stop working in a catastrophic manner. So you folks that have served currently and in the past and retired, really appreciate your work. You've made me look good on many, many occasions. I've never had an instance where I had a citizen or a resident contact me with an issue that you haven't risen to the occasion and got them taken care of. After hours, during emergencies, ice storms, floods, earthquakes, we're always here, and I appreciate that help. I'd like to thank my mom and dad. If I hadn't had the wonderful opportunity to grow up here in Miami with my mom and dad, with the guidance they'd given me, I wouldn't be here today. And I thank them for everything that they did, my family for putting up with the time that I've been away from home to take care of duties. I'll get to spend a whole lot more time with them now, so very appreciative of them for putting up with that. And lastly, the most important group of people are the residents here of Miami. This is a unique community in the world. I've always said that. Growing up in Miami and serving Miami is just an experience that very few people in the world get to have. I was a beneficiary of that. There's all kinds of comments about communities. There was a kind of infamous one years ago. It takes a village to raise a child. Whether you agree with that particular philosophy or not, it does take a community to make some unique people and some unique things happen. Miami has a storied history of doctors, lawyers, professional athletes. 2 Rhodes Scholars have called Miami home. That's a pretty significant thing. Artists, performers, all manner of professionals, and just generally good salt of the earth type folks. Probably more important than anything, Miami's just produced those in the numbers of thousands and thousands. And so I'm just privileged to be a resident of Miami, and I want to thank the residents for allowing me to serve in this position. It's been a great honor. I will close with my favorite stolen quote that Jill gives me a hard time about. I don't know if I had a goal in mind when I first came on the council, other than just I wanted to do my part. I'd had a very good example to follow in several members of our community that I had gone to church with over the years and people I'd known in it as a young man, Cub Scout leaders, Boy Scout leaders, sports coaches, folks that had done the same thing. And it was simply my time when I stepped up, and so I answered that call and was happy to serve. I'm not leaving community service. I'm simply taking a small break. I'm happy to be back in the future to serve in whatever need the residents may have. I may strike out and maybe start a new venture that's community-oriented to benefit the citizens of Miami as well. Who knows? There's all kinds of time. I'm going to take a few months off and kind of recharge my batteries a little bit. But the favorite stolen quote is, and I can't remember the original origin. It's a Greek philosopher, possibly, depending on whose book you read. I stole it from Senator Coburn when he gave it at a community meeting one time. Is that great communities, or rather great societies, are often made up of old men who plant trees, the shade of which they will never enjoy. And I benefited from that in our community. And hopefully I've planted a few seeds along with the support of the council, because this is not an individual effort to give some shade trees to some of the future generations. So once again, thank you very much. That is not necessary. And with a weepy item 20, we move on to item 21, which is a mayor and council community announcements and sign of approved documents.
Such eloquence.
There being no announcements from the council, we'll move on while we're signing. Item 2 is authorize the city manager to pay $10,000 deposit for court reporter to transcribe the Gary Anderson Review Board hearing. Mr. Bishop?
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. This item was added to the agenda yesterday and is the reason for the amended agenda. We received a phone call from special counsel yesterday, informed us that we had lost our motion to ask the court to bear the cost of transcribing the Gary Anderson Review Board hearing. And as a result, the city is required to produce that transcript. The court reporter is requesting a $10,000 deposit. It is something that would be reimbursed by insurance at a later date once we submit the invoice, but in order to meet the deadline, we need to get that authorized tonight so that we can get it underway.
I'll make the motion to approve item 22.
Second. Ms. Fitzgibbon, please poll.
Mayor Kitcher,
Aye.
Councilman Schultz,
Aye.
Councilman Johnson, Councilman Sharbit,
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Kessler.
Aye. Item 22 is passed. Item 22, executive session. We are going on with that this evening. We're not tabling it? Okay. Item 22 is executive session pursuant to 25 OS, Section 307B4, for purposes of discussing confidential communications between a public body and its attorney concerning a pending investigation, claim, or action. Pursuant to 25 OS, Section 307E, the city council may go into executive session unless the executive session is authorized by a majority vote of a quorum of the members present, and the vote is a recorded vote. Neither public body may take any vote or any action on any item of business considered in an executive session except in a public meeting, with the vote of each member publicly cast and recorded. Items are discussion on the employment, hiring, and appointment, promotion, demotion, disciplining, or resignation of any individual salaried public official or employee, to wit, Jill Fitzgibbon, George Harrelson, Chuck Childs, David Roundtree, Jeff Bishop, Krista Duhan, and David Anderson, authorized under Title 25 OS Section 307B1.
No particular form is required to the motion.
Motion that we go into executive session.
Second.
Councilman Schultz,
Aye.
Councilman Johnson,
Aye.
Councilman Sharbit,
Aye.
Mayor Kitcher,
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Tressler.
Aye. Mr. Bishop, do we have an idea? Is this
It's totally up to you, sir.
10 minutes.
10 minutes? So do you want to stay here?
Here upstairs.
Your call, sir.
I don't care.
Tell him his first responsibility before he's sworn in is to be at that meeting.
To be sworn in.
We are out of executive session at 7:49 p.m. No action on anything in executive session. Item 23 is a motion for adjournment. And gentlemen, if you will do me the honor, my last time to say this, gentlemen, I would like to call for a motion for adjournment.
I'll make that motion. I'll second it.
Okay. Councilman Johnson,
Aye.
Councilman Sharbit,
Aye.
Councilman Schultz,
Aye.
Mayor Ketcher,
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Tressler.
Aye. This meeting is adjourned. Gentlemen, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.